So once again, welcome, beautiful people. And I'm happy to join you. My name, as is on the screen, Samson Amanyo Zixon. I'm a certified Huawei pre-sales professional and after-sales associate. This permits me and gives me the adequacy to discuss plant construction guidelines and O&M processes, particularly with Huawei solar systems. Majority of the things we'll be going through, if you are a solar installer or a solar enthusiast, you would have known from your other installations with other brands, but this time we will make some of the things much more specific to Huawei systems. So for those of you who are willing to adopt Huawei, maybe for a first time, or you continuously work with Huawei systems, it would be good for us to take a look at how to adequately, by Huawei standard, construct PV systems and how to go through the O&M processes. I am excited today. I hope you are. This will be surely an informative session for us. So let us take you through the itinerary of what we're going to be doing today. First, we're going to delve into who we are as Jubilee Bros Solar. And we will take a look at the appearance of Huawei inverters for the sake of those of us who will be on the call who might not have a close hand work with Huawei inverters in the past. We also take a look at some pre-installation requirements. We will now go to installation and commissioning. We also take a look at some do's and don'ts of installation. And we will also introduce other Jubilee Bros Solar products to you. In the previous webinars I have held, I've done introduction to Huawei systems. I've done residential solutions, that is systems up to 10 kilowatt, that with battery backup. We have also done CNI solutions most recently. And I know my colleagues in Kenya, Kennedy, and also in South Africa and Pakistan have also been hosting other webinars on several topics. So today we are going to do plant construction guidelines and a bit of O&M processes. All right, so let's take a look at who we are as Jubilee Bros. So Jubilee Bros was founded in 1977. The whole journey started in Lebanon. And since Lebanon, you can see from the timelines we have here, we have progressed into several other countries in the region. We have moved on to UAE, Afghanistan, Nigeria, Kuwait. We entered into Ghana in the year 2010. And we've still moved on to Qatar, Uganda, South Africa. In 2017, the company was 40 years old. So in order to commemorate 40-year anniversary properly, the Jubilee Bros Solar division was started. So Jubilee Bros Solar, basically, it's a 5 years old. Amazing, but already we have made too many giant strides in the industry. Since 2017, we have entered into Pakistan, Kenya, and we are still expanding beyond. Let's take a look at our global reach. So we take a look at this. This is our global logistics reach, and you can see that we are very, very prominent in the MENA region, the Middle East and Africa. So you can see that we have reached far east into the Philippines, right, and far west into Sierra Leone. Our vision is simple. Our vision is to be a pioneer in delivering energy solutions to you, conventional and renewable. Jubilee Bros was born particularly as a generator sales company, that is conventional energy. And now we are, since 2017, we have also been delivering renewable energy solutions. Our mission is simple. It's for you, the customer, to trust us absolutely that we can deliver on what we are telling you that we could. So the mission is very simple: to have you trust us and know that we can do what we say we are able to do. That is absolutely important. So let's delve a bit more into the solar business alone. And for the solar business, as I mentioned, was given birth in 2017, and the solar business was born on 6 key pillars. Okay, it was born on 6 key pillars. The first one is product supply. So we are mainly an equipment distributor. That is what we do for you to pay us money. So we distribute solar equipment, one being Huawei systems, and for this, pay us. But apart from what we do for money, we deliver so many other services for free. We offer trainings, webinars, and seminars, one of which I am doing now, absolutely. We offer engineering support. at the design stage of your project. So you are a company and you've never dealt with Huawei systems before. This is the first time that you want to do Huawei. We are absolutely available to help you in design. And most of this we do absolutely for free. We offer leads to our customers and our clients and our suppliers. That is very important. You come to us with a project that we don't offer directly. We will lead you to the right source and the right people who are able to give you the solution. We also offer referral to finance, and this is very important. That's why majority of our projects are tripartite projects. There are three parties involved: the beneficiary, that is the owner, and we as equipment suppliers, and a financial institution who is willing to take the burden of debt on these projects. So yes, we are good partners who we refer our projects to. And one of my absolute favorites after sales support, the whole region. You saw our logistical reach. I showed you the map, and this is very, very important because for every item you buy with us, the warranty is not with the equipment manufacturer, it is with us. So for example, if you buy a Huawei inverter in Ghana and you have a problem, you don't have to decommission the inverter and ship to China for a replacement, which is cost you downtime and money. Your replacement is directly with Jubilee Bros Ghana, which is normally most often can be done in a week, so that you don't lose any downtime. So these are our key pillars for the solar division. Let's just take a look at a range of our products. So we offer everything from, if you like, from downstream to upstream. So we do panels. Jinko Panels is our main GCC partner in the Gulf region. We do mounting structure, particularly from Lumax Energy. Lumax is a brand out of South Africa, very, very good and solid brand. For the inverters, we particularly do Huawei. So we are offering Huawei systems exclusively as a VAP, and I'll be explaining a bit more of that. And with generators, we do systems with Perkins engines and Leroy Samara alternators. Because we are particularly a generator company before moving into solar, one of our strong suits or our strong areas is PV diesel systems, right? Hybridizing generators with our solar installations. And for this purpose, we use two main systems. We use the Deep Sea hybrid controller, because our generators are already fixed with Deep Sea controllers. And we also use Ncombi for this purpose. So we have this whole range of items that we offer. Today, we are going to narrow down on Huawei, particularly for these systems. So what is our partnership with Huawei like? Our partnership with Huawei, we are a VAP and we are a CSP. That is absolutely important. A VAP means we are a value-added partner. So we don't just buy from Huawei and then we distribute to you. We add value to the chain of logistics that we pick from Huawei. So some of those value is that we are the first point of call for after sales when it comes to all Huawei systems. So that's a value that we add to the system. We are the first point of call also for engineering support, for pre-sales, for sales, and after sales. So the whole chain, after you buy from Huawei, it's handled downstream by Jubilee Bros Solar. Because we also do after sales service, we are a certified service provider. That's the CSP that you see here. We are a certified service provider also from Huawei. Why did we select Huawei as our main brand of distribution? Huawei has the highest energy yields, and we have shown this in other webinars for you. It has the smartest O&M, which I will be showing you some in this webinar. And Huawei has the safest and most reliable inverter system out there as per our standards. Okay, so just to tell you how the industry has changed since Huawei has been number one. So on the right-hand side, you can see Huawei has been the number one global inverter shipper for 6-7 years straight. This is up to 2019. I can confidently tell you 2020 and 2021 figures are out, and Huawei is still number one. So this is about 7 straight years that Huawei has been shipping more than any other global inverter brand. So this is to demystify that idea that Huawei is not popular around the world. If you think Huawei is not popular, Huawei is shipping more inverters than anybody globally. And we all know Huawei do not do central inverter systems. They only do string. So you can see how the string inverter system market share has increased ever since Huawei has been number one in the system. So previously, and that's the gray area. The gray area is for central inverters. The blue area is for string inverters. And you can see that progressively, the paradigm has changed. Now the string inverters globally are gaining much more market than the central inverter systems. And this is particularly because of the influence of Huawei in the inverter world. Let's take the string inverter world alone, the string inverter market alone, not string and central. The one on the left here is both string and central. Here, we come to string inverters alone. Huawei has more than half the global market share of string inverters in the world. Over 50% of solar users today are actually employing Huawei, and all others are below half. That is absolutely magic. Okay, so now let's take a look at the real business for today. Let's see how the Huawei inverters look, and it will help us in the installations that we are going to be going forward. First, a full range of the products. Huawei does everything from residential, commercial, and industrial to utility scale. And remember, everything in this range is string inverters. Even for the utilities, there's nothing central. Everything here is string. So take a look at the bands or the ranges of inverters that we have. For every range you see, what it tells you is that the make, the type, and the shape of the inverter is all the same. The only thing that will change is the capacity in there. So for example, if you have 2 to 6 kilowatts, so that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kilowatt inverters, single phase. These are single phase inverters. They are all the same size, the same make, the same model. All right, so under residential, we have 2 to 6 kilowatt single phase, and we have 3 to 10 kilowatt three phase. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10 kilowatt three phase. There is no 7 and 9. Take note. So this group of inverters will also have the same shape. You see very soon. And then under the commercial and industrial, we have 4 different ranges. Okay, the small CNI, we call them 12 to 20. So it comes at 12, 15, 17, and 20 kilowatt. That's the small CNI range. We have 30, 36, 40 kilowatt. This is the medium range. The other medium range we have is 50 and 60 kilowatt. And then we have the biggest CNI inverter in the system. One of my absolute favorites, I've always said, is the 100 kilowatt inverter, 10 MPPTs. Each MPPT has 2 strings, which makes it have 20 inputs in all. You don't need a DC combiner box. You just terminate all the DC strings directly onto the inverter. That is absolutely magic. That's the 100 kilowatts that we have here. Under utility scale, we have the 185 kilowatt, and we have the new group 200 and the 215 kilowatt. So basically, the 215 kilowatt is the largest inverter in the Huawei business. 215 kilowatt is the biggest. So if you are doing any utility scale project and you want to use string inverters, the largest that you can get from us is the 215 kilowatt. And these inverters are built to be compatible with all the modern technologies in the PV panel system. So for high powered panels, for panels above 600 watts peak, this is the mega inverter for you. Absolutely built for such system. Built for floating solar, built for bifacials, all right, and also built for tracking systems. Everything is absolutely compatible with this range of inverters. Okay, so this is the range that we have. Let's start taking a look at how some of them look like. So the first range, the single phase range, the Sun 2000, 2 to 6 KTL L1. Anywhere in the Huawei system you see L1, it means low voltage, okay? 200, 220, 230 volts range. So 2 to 6 kilowatt is a sweet inverter, and this is how it looks like. Very, very ample, can be handled by just one person easily. Remember, Huawei has the lightest inverters among all the tier 1 brands that you can think of. Huawei has the lightest. If you have been following our previous webinars on residential and CNI and utility scale webinars, you would have realized that my colleagues would have been speaking about that previously. So this is how it looks like. It's quite a simple system. It just has an indicator panel at the front. There is no button to switch it on and off. There is no fuse. There are no fans. So it's a compact, robust system. The only thing that you have here is an indicator model, an LED indicator. If it's a single phase system, you have 3 indicators. The first indicator showing the PV panel, the second indicator showing the AC termination, and the third one showing the communication. So quite a simple system. At the back, you see a heat sink, okay, because there is no fan in the lower class of inverters. So you see a heat sink at the back that helps to dissipate the heat that is created or generated behind the inverter. We will going forward. We will take a look at the space requirements. Okay, the space requirement that you must leave side by side the inverters to ensure that enough heat can be dissipated from under the inverter going forward. And this is under the inverter. Below, you see all these icons showing you there's a DC switch. These are the MPPTs, and then this is the battery terminal all in there. That's the communication. That's the AC input. So it's all pretty easy, pretty much very, very easy, as you can see from here. Looking similar to this is the 3 to 10 kilowatt class. This is again residential, but this is 3-phase. That's why you see medium voltage, okay, 3-phase medium voltage range. And here, similar to the first one, solid surface, only an indicator light at the front. And at the back, you have a heat sink. And then at the bottom of the inverter, you have your usual items, the MPPTs showing you the strings, the battery terminal, because these inverters are hybrid grid type, hybrid and grid type. So there's a battery, a DC coupled battery system that is here, positive and negative, simple line communication to the battery, and you are done. And this is the communication, and this is the AC output of the inverter. Pretty much simple. Again, this inverter can be handled by one person. I think less than 17 kgs. So it can be handled by just one person. Easy does it for installation. Let's take a look at the CMI range that we have. So the CMI range of inverters, the 12 to 20, they all look simply like this. This model is similar to the 2 to 6 and the 3 to 10 that we just saw, only a little bit bigger than the 2 to 6 and the 3 to 10. So same interface like them, with the panel at the front for showing the indication of what is happening. And then we come to the bigger sizes, the 30, 36, 40. These are the M3 range, and you see it's quite solid. Okay, it has 2 compartments here, just like the 50 and 62. You can see 2 compartments here. One compartment is the maintenance compartment, and the second is the host. The maintenance compartment you are allowed to open, of course, for your termination of your AC input, the AC output from the inverter. The host compartment is an absolutely no touch area. As soon as you open anything from the host compartment, you lose the warranty of the inverter. Huawei clearly states that in its manual. So you do not touch the host compartment. You do not touch the host compartment. All you can do is to touch the maintenance compartment initially when you are doing your installation for the termination of your AC terminals, and that is it. So this is the group, and this is the Mega 100 kilowatt inverter. The 100 kilowatt inverter, unlike these 2 other classes, do not have a division of the maintenance compartment at the front. What you see is that at the side of the inverter like that, this is the maintenance area. Okay, so that is at the side of the inverter easily, and you can open that up, and that is where your terminations coming from. So this is the ranges, and this is how they look like: 12 to 20, 30, 36, 40, 50, 60, and then the ultimate 100 kilowatt inverter with their MPPTs and their inputs all stated in this diagram. Okay, now let's take a look at the communication systems. Okay, so the communication modules that we have with the Huawei inverters, we have 2 types of dongles, all right? And remember, communication It's particular so that you can remotely monitor the system if you are away from the inverter. It's absolutely important. I am in Ghana now. I did an installation in Senegal the last time, and I'm able to monitor the system from Ghana. How am I able to do so? Because the system has a dongle that is connected to it, and this dongle is connected to the internet, and I can access it right from the palm of my phone. So it's pretty much easy. So we have two dongles. This is a smart dongle WLAN FE. WLAN means wireless local area network. FE means fast Ethernet. So for this one dongle, you can either use Wi-Fi, or you could also just open the button here and put a local internet line just at the bottom, and then you are online. If you are in an area where there is no Wi-Fi or there's no local internet line, but you have a GSM, okay, there's a good telecommunication system in the area, you can buy a SIM card. If you buy a SIM card, then this will be your communication model of choice, the Smart Dongle 4G. So after your installation, you put the Smart Dongle 4G below the, there will be a USB slot under the inverter where you can just slot in your Smart Dongle 4G, get a SIM card in there. Only you have to make sure that that SIM card is 2G, 3G, or 4G compliant at least. 2G, 3G, or 4G compliant, so that you can use the internet, get some data on it, and then you can be connected to the internet. If you are doing these smart dongles, can offer you the opportunity to connect up to 10 inverters in a synchro. Okay, if you are synchronizing inverters together, you can do 10 inverters using these smart dongles. If the inverters have batteries, like residential inverters, if they're residential inverters and they have batteries, then you can do a maximum of three in a synchro, okay, using these smart dongles. But if the number of inverters becomes too much, let's say 15 inverters, 20 inverters, 30 inverters, like a CNI project or a big utility scale project, these smart dongles will not work. The communication model of choice is the smart logger. The smart logger, this is the 3000A. We have the second version that's called 3000B. So the 3000A can accept a maximum of what? 80 inverters in a synchro. 80. The 3000B can accept up to 150 inverters. So Huawei has a solution for any type of system that you are going to operate. Even if it's a big utility scale system, Huawei still has a solution for you to get that done. Okay, so that's the Smart Logger 3000B. And this here is the USB adapter. Okay, so now I would, the communication models are easy to explain. Normally, if it's a residential product, up to 10 kilowatt, Huawei will supply the Smart Dongle WLAN in the package. So you don't have to buy it. It's for free. It comes as part of the package. If it is a, if you cannot use the Smart Dongle, but you want to use the Smart Dongle 4G, then that one you have to purchase it separately as an accessory. The Smart Logger 2 you have to purchase. For bigger systems, 30, 36, 40, 50, 60, 100, Huawei supplies the USB adapter in the box of the inverter. And the purpose of the adapter is for commissioning. It's for local commissioning. You know, so if you're going to commission the inverter locally, you will need to connect the inverter system to the Wi-Fi on your phone for that local connection. If you want to use the Wi-Fi on your phone, this is the adapter that would bring Wi-Fi into the inverter. So you connect this USB adapter to the inverter, and it will allow you to have Wi-Fi access between the inverter and your mobile phone for local commissioning of the inverter system. So this again is also provided in the box. Absolutely, you don't have to buy it. So the USB adapter you don't buy. The Smart Dongle WLAN FE, if it's a residential system, you don't buy. If for the Smart Dongle 4G and the Smart Logger 3008, these are accessories that you would have to purchase if you need them for any purpose. Let's focus more on the Smart Dongle, the Smart Logger 3000A. As I mentioned, it can take up to 80 inverters in a synchro. Up to 80 inverters in a synchro. It has 3 communication ports under the inverter, under the logger. It has COM port 1, COM port 2, COM port 3. Each communication port can manage up to 30 inverters in a daisy chain. Okay, each communication port can manage up to 30 inverters. So, for example, but the total overall is 80. So if you want to connect, let's say 70 inverters to this smart logger, you can do 30, 30, and 10. All right. You can do 30 in this, 30 in that, and 10. Or you can even choose to reduce it, right? Maybe 20, 20 making 40, and 30. It's all your choice, all right? Absolutely. So this daisy chain is just by using a simple RS4 communication line. So one RS4 communication line from the output of this to the input of that, output of this to the input of that, output of this to the input of that, and then the last output goes into the communication port of the smart logger. Pretty much simple. It's a simple construction business. Okay. If you have any other devices that are not inverters, always those devices must be at the end of the daisy chain, like a weather station, a temperature sensor, and an irradiation monitor. Anything that you want to connect to the system will have to be at the end of the daisy chain, not in the middle, not at the beginning. It always has to be at the end, like the picture you see here. So this weather station cannot be in this position. No, it always has to be at the end, or at the end of this, or at the end of that. Anyhow you like it. Okay, now let's go to the other accessories that we have in the Huawei systems. That's the smart power sensor. We call it a smart power sensor. You normally know it as a smart meter from or a power meter from other brands. Huawei say it's smart because for our smart power sensor, we use AI technology, and it's a bi-directional meter that is power in both directions from your grid and also from your solar system. Now, this is single phase type, this is three-phase type, depending on which system you are installing. If it's a single phase system in the house or the facility, you employ this. If it's a three-phase system, you go for this. Remember, as a way of caution, the Huawei Smart Power Sensor can only be used for systems up to 170 kilowatt. Take note, if you are doing any system above 170 kilowatt, unfortunately, you cannot purchase a Huawei Smart Power Sensor for your job. Take note of this point clearly. So you have a 300 kilowatt project that you are doing. You have bought Huawei inverters. You cannot purchase this Huawei Smart Power Sensor for your job. Huawei has third-party compliant smart meters that you can use with your system. So all you have to do is to contact your Huawei dealer in your area. If it's Jubilee Bros, Kenya, Ghana, South Africa, Pakistan, Dubai, contact your dealer, and we will give you a list of the Huawei compliant smart meters that can be used for systems above 170 kilowatt. That is because Huawei includes cities in this package, and the cities have a particular rating that do not allow us to use them above 170 kilowatt. So if it's a single phase meter, there will be one city in the box. If it's a three-phase meter, there will be you have three different cities in the box, so that you can put them on each phase. Okay, that's on the feed. On the live feeds, you can put L1, L2, L3. You can put all three cities, and the cities are already included in the box. You don't have to buy them from any other source. Also, Huawei has the smart optimizer. I believe in my during my residential and my CNI projects, I discussed the smart optimizer. This smart optimizer helps you. We all know what optimizers do in a system. Helps to maximize the production from a particular model or a particular panel, and whether it's shading, thermal mismatch, string mismatch, soiling, whatever systems that are prevent you from losing power, the Huawei Smart Optimizer can help. Again, the optimizer are only applicable. The current optimizers that Huawei has, it's only applicable to systems, to panels up to 450 watts. If the panel capacity is above 450 watts, you cannot use these optimizers. I always like to sound the limitations so that you don't end up purchasing something which will not work for your system, and it will be as if we were not able to inform you properly. So again, you can see the features of the optimizer here. Highest efficiency, 99.5% in the market. And one of the benefits of using an optimizer is that it's almost serves like a shutdown device, right? Rapid voltage shutdown to 0 volts. Immediately the inverter goes off. The system goes down to 0 volts. That is absolutely amazing. Okay, so without further ado, let us move into our pre-installation requirements. What are the pre-installation requirements for Huawei inverters for the system? Most at times, these are the tools that you would need to install any Huawei inverter. You may not need all of them at the same time, depending on the size of system that you are installing, whether it's a single phase residential, 3-phase, whether it's a small CNI or a three-scale system, you might need some of this equipment, but not all. But I can bet you, if you are a solar installer, nothing here is new to you, right? The heat guns, our multimeters, our Bluetooths that we call them, open end wrenches. I mean, everything here is what we used already previously for our system. You need a hammer drill if you're going to drill into the wall, if it's a wall that you're going to, or a concrete unit. You need the wire strippers. Our crimping tool, very, very important in our system. So these are the installation tools that you need for any Huawei system. Once you have all these in your toolbox, you are absolutely good to go. And also your protection tools, your protection equipment. And normally every installer would be using his gloves, safety goggles, anti-dust respirator. If you are going to be using the hammer drill to drill into a wall, of course, just to safeguard your breathing system. And then safety boots are absolutely a priority for every installation. And here we are just showing you, this is the 100 kilowatt inverter. And you can see this is the mounting rack, a very simple and solid mounting rack. These are the accessories in the box. And this is the 100 kilowatt inverter solid. That's the maintenance compartment on the right side, as I told you. And you see the MPPTs are all below here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 MPPTs. And each MPPT has 2 strings. So you can see that. So this is positive, negative string 1, positive, negative string 2. So in all, you have 20 strings under this inverter. You bring your strings and you terminate them directly onto the inverter without any issue. Each group of MPPTs have its own switch. So here we have switch 1, switch 2 for this group, and switch 3 for that group. Absolutely amazing inverter. One of my very favorites in the system. Okay, so let's take a look at the installation space requirements. As I mentioned to you, majority of the Huawei inverters do not have fans. So they are very lightweight, very compact, and very robust. But because they don't use fans, you need to have a space requirement when you are installing them. But even this is not too big, right? This is just very still less than 1 meter. Okay, this is about 0.6 of a meter on the left and right, and then at the bottom, at the top, a maximum of 0.2 meters. And we need this space around the inverter to ensure that this inverter is able to dissipate the heat from the area as it's supposed to. All right, so let's jump into some installation, some commissioning, and some powering on units. So installation of the inverter particularly is basically mounting the inverter on a wall or on any mounting system that you have been provided with. If it's a metal mounting system or it's a concrete one, okay, so there's always a mounting bracket in the inverter system. You just mount it on the wall, and then you put in your screw expansion system in, and then you mount the inverter, connecting the DC cables or to the bottom of the inverter, as we mentioned. So these are the MPPTs from here. So you can see them clearly, right? So you terminate them directly. You don't need the DC combiner box, and then you are good to go. To power on this inverter, it's a simple system. If you have, it depends on whether you are doing a residential system or a CNI. So since the residential is the longest, I will use that as an example. So imagine you are going to power on a residential inverter that has batteries in the system. If there are batteries in the system, first rule, switch on the batteries, okay? So you switch on the knob on the battery first. Please take note, battery first, then AC switch next, before DC switch. So it goes in that order. Battery switch first, AC switch next, DC switch third. If you should change the order, especially between AC and DC, if you should put on the DC switch first, before putting on the AC switch, the inverter will give you an error message. And the inverter will shut down to protect itself. You will not be able to power on this inverter until the inverter itself reads that the current in the system is below 0.5 amps. After the current goes below 0.5 amps, before the inverter will allow you to restart the process. So if it's in the afternoon where you have voltages coming from your panels already, it means you are in some sort of trouble. You have to wait until night for the whole amperage of the panels at the top to go below 0.5 before you can redo your system. So it's very important. Take note. Turn on AC first before the DC switch, always. If you have batteries in the system, the battery switch first, then your AC switch next, then your DC switch. Now, I always told you there is a group of indicator lights in front of the inverter panel. So that is it. So here you see the panel has some indicator lights. It will be 1, 2, 3. If it's a residential system, if it's a CNI or a utility scale system, it will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one, if it blinks green, it tells you that the PV panel power from the system at the top of your roof or wherever it is, it's getting to the inverter. So the first indicator light shows you DC power is adequate. The second indicator light shows you AC termination is also adequate. The third one will be for communication. So if you have a smart dongle under the inverter or the inverter is connected to a smart logger and the communication is adequate, you will see this third light blinking green, telling you that the communication system is also responding. The fourth one, if it's available, will be to show you any alarm. So if there's any alarm in the system, if you have a remote monitoring scenario, you will see it on your phone. But also right in front of the inverter, you see a red light blinking here. So there are 4 indicators: DC, AC, communication, and the fourth one is an alarm. Not all inverters you see all these 4 indicators. In some, you only see 1, 2, 3. The alarm indicator is not part. But for the bigger systems, you have the alarm indicator being part. So 2 things to learn from here. If you are powering on this any Huawei inverter, if there's a battery in the system, switch on the battery first. If there's no battery, then your first point of attack is the AC switch. After a few seconds, if the indicators here begin to blink, then you put on your DC switch. If everything goes well, all you should see is green, green, and green. If you see green, green, green here, it means that your system is up and functioning. Simple. There is no hassle about this at all. The indicators here will tell you whether what you've done is working or not. Absolutely. We will move into a bit more of it as we go along. So, yes, so as I was trying to indicate for you, so here you see the indication lights. The first one is DC, the second one is AC, the third one is communication LED, and then the fourth one is an alarm. Each one has a meaning and what you should look out for. It will be in the manual of your inverter. Okay, if it's steady green, what it means. If it's steady green, what it means. If it's off, what it means. If it's red, what it means also. Okay, if you should put on any inverter, and for whatever reason, the DC side is steady red, the AC side is steady red, the communication is steady red, simple. Your inverter has a manufacturer defect, and you will have to contact your supplier to discuss. This is assuming that you have not done anything absolutely wrong. Okay, as soon as you see red, 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 it means that your inverter has some manufacturer defect, and this rarely happens with Huawei inverters. The failure rate of Huawei inverters globally is 0.5%, 0.5, less than 1%. So we absolutely do not expect this to happen. But in the event it does, you know who to talk to. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the O&M do's and don'ts of installation, things you can do, things you should not do, absolutely, for Huawei installation systems. Okay, things that you can do. First and foremost, let us even start with this. If you have properly installed the system, followed all the rules of installation, and you have powered it on, we expect that the inverter and the modules that you have installed should be touch free. Absolutely, for the entire period that you're going to use the system. It should be touch free. That is why we say everything about the Huawei inverter is smart. Everything that you want to do with the Huawei system, you should be able to do it on the monitoring platform, on your phone, on your laptop, or on your desktop. The whole maintenance for Huawei systems has shifted to the phone or the desktop. So we don't expect you to touch this inverter, unless, of course, there's an installation mistake that you have done. But if everything has been done properly, your system is supposed to be touch-free for inverters, touch-free for the modules. And I would explain much more about that, especially for that of the models. Somebody will ask, we are an inverter company. Why are we insisting touch-free for the modules? Yeah. Okay. So we'll take a look at our smart diagnostic tool that we use to ensure that the module is also touch-free. Okay. So our inverter system has natural cooling. It's a simple plug and play with the dongles for communication, and it is AI boosted for IV curve diagnosis. This is the main reason why we say the model should be touch-free. Because if you have this software and you run this software on your system, you should be able to detect any fault that is on your roof or that is in your car park, if that's where the models are, or that is in your ground mount, if that's where the models are. You should be able to identify every fault. It will tell you the fault, it will tell you how to remedy the fault, it will even give you the location of the fault, on which particular string all those faults are. So this is this is our emblem. This is what we expect you to have. Now, let us go through a few of the systems or the things that we expect you to do and things that we don't expect you to do. Naturally, Huawei inverters are IP67 rated, IP66 rated for some. So we expect that, yes, you can position these inverters without a housing. Okay, it will not be a problem. However, it is our recommendation. It is our recommendation that you always put a shade above your inverter. I think this is mostly even common sense engineering. That mostly, even if the inverter can still handle the harsh conditions of the weather, just put a shade over it so that you prolong the lifespan of these inverters. Okay, so this is a similar installation that has been done on a roofing system. They could choose to leave the inverters like this, but we have always advocated for a shade. You don't need any DC combiner box with the system, as I've told you. You terminate all the strings directly onto the inverter without a DC combiner box. This reduces capex, isn't it? It reduces capex, which means that the system overall becomes cheaper for you. A few of the do's and don'ts, of course. So the first thing you do before commissioning or powering on any Huawei inverter, ensure that the whole inverter system is grounded. Number one, please, this is a critical point. Never power on any Huawei system if it's not grounded. If the connection you are doing is onto a steel bar or a steel platform, okay, make sure that it is grounded onto the bar, and make sure that the bar itself is grounded to the ground. Absolutely. Don't assume that when you ground the system to the metal bar, and because the metal bar itself touches the ground, so that's a grounding. No, please kindly ground the metal bar to a very good earthing system, and make sure that you have also grounded this inverter enclosure. Absolutely important. Huawei has two earthing systems for every inverter. The one that is internal and then the one that is external. We all know what the use is, right? The external one is to protect we, the human beings who are going to be touching these inverter systems. The internal one is to protect the internal circuitry of the inverter system. So the internal, don't confuse the internal earth with the external grounding. They are two different things. The internal earth will protect any short circuiting that is going to happen in the circuitry system. But the external grounding is important so that we do not get electrocuted in case we are touching these inverters. Absolutely crucial. Again, things that we don't expect you to do. If you are going to be cabling, remember we mentioned that the Huawei systems, just like this, you will have to terminate them directly onto the inverter. So this is maybe string 1, string 2, string 3, string 4, string 5, string 6. Please, if you're terminating them, let us put some color coding, please. It is absolutely important, especially if you are not going to be the same person doing the O&M for this system. Okay, it's always good for you to put. Of course, we all know black is always negative, red is positive, or any other 2 different colors that you can use. If you're going to use the same color, then make sure that you label them clearly. Okay, absolutely important. That's what we always ask for. Let's take a look at the bends. Okay, how we are bending these systems onto our string inputs. Remember, there's no DC combiner box. So you are terminating directly on our inverters. Make sure that there is enough slack, okay, in the system so that the power flow can be smooth. Okay, we don't want there to be any serious bends or breaks where it will disturb the power flow to the inverter from the DC side. So this is adequate. You see nicely. This is also adequate. You can see it. There is enough slack. This is very adequate. And this is the AC side. So you can see line 1, line 2, line 3. You can see the neutral, or there is enough slack in there. Okay. These are the tighter ones that we don't want. Too tight, and then too risky. You see how the bend is too sharp. Okay. So let's make sure that our AC and DC cables should be installed without stress on the terminals. Absolutely important for us. Again, let's take a look at the conduiting. Okay, it's always crucial, important that you conduit them in separate conduits. AC cables separately, DC cables separately, communication cables especially. We don't advise that you conduit them with the power cables, at least. Absolutely not. Okay, this is even general inverter systems, not only for Huawei. So let us make sure that these conduit is done properly. We will discuss even this more when we come to MBAS or PLC. Okay, PLC communication. You then see that if you are using the PLC communication system, the reason why they would advise you to most often use the multi-core cables rather than the single core cables. Okay, so we'll come back to cabling again if you are going to do the PLC multi-core as against single core cables. Again, Huawei systems, you do remember that I mentioned that it is possible to have daisy chain, right? When we were taking a look at the connection to the smart logger, you saw that we could put 30 inverters in a chain connected to the same smart logger. We are all aware that most at times, if it's a big field, if it's a utility scale project, all 30 inverters might not be at the same location. And that's absolutely true. Unless you are wiring every DC component coming to an inverter house where you have all the inverters at the same place. But normally, if the inverters are interspaced in the field, all we are asking for is for the sake of communication. If you are using an RS4 communication line for your daisy chain system, the distance between the furthermost inverter in the system to the smart logger should not be more than 1 kilometer. Remember, 1 kilometer is quite long. Okay, 1 kilometer, that's 1,000 meters, very long. So always just ensure that the last inverter in the chain and the smart logger location, the distance should not be more than 1,000 meters. 900, 800, 700, 500. The closer, the better, of course. The closer, the better, the faster the communication. The furthermost, then we are beginning to lose some communication power. And if it goes beyond 1 kilometer, normally you begin to face communication challenges. So this is the biggest advice. So here you see year 1, 2, 3, up to whatever inverter. This last inverter in the system, the distance between the smart logger should not be more than 1,000 meters. Please, let us take note of it, especially for utility scale or big CNI project developers. Let's put this at the back of our minds. Again, if you are using a PLC system and not the communication line, so PLC means that power line communication. Okay, so we are doing the communication through the same power line that we are using. Remember, Huawei has a better system than normal PLC. Huawei calls it the MBAX, the monitoring bus system. So and this monitoring bus system has more gateways than than the normal PLC. So the more gateways, the faster the PLC communication through the power line. However, just like the way I stated above here, that if you are using an RS4 communication for linking the inverters, your maximum distance is 1,000 meters. If you are doing PLC, your maximum is 300 meters, unfortunately. 300 meters. So PLC, of course, we all know saves you communication cables. So it saves you some money. But all you have to make sure is that the distance between the last inverter and the smart logger should not be more than 300 meters, or else you'll be losing some communication signal and strength. This information again is very, very important. Let's move to the next. And also, normally, let us always make sure that the smart logger cabinet should always be closer to the transformer if there's one. Let's go back to the PLC. So here you see that here, this is a transformer, right? So if you are doing a project where there's a transformer and there's a smart logger unit, the smart logger unit will normally be as part of something we call a SACU, a smart array controller unit, an SACU. So if the smart logger is inside the smart array controller unit, this array controller unit must be connected directly onto there's a position around the transformer where we allow you to put the smart logger directly onto the transformer. It shouldn't be away from it. If it's away from it, then you are going to further increase the distance of the communication between the transformer to the smart logger. Remember, we already have a limitation from here. So if you should extend this distance the more, you are going to lose some communication power. It's very important. That's why here we are stating something like this. This is a fair distance, okay? Fair. But further away from this, we don't advise. Make sure that always the smart array controller that has the smart logger is always closer to the transformer. Very, very important. Let this communication cabinet be closer. Again, as I mentioned earlier, if you're going to use PLC communication, our first suggestion is for you to use a multi-core system. Okay, the multi-core system is the best. If for whatever reason you cannot, or whether it's affordability or for any other technical reason, you prefer single core systems, then what you have to do is that you have to bundle them at every 1 meter along their way. And that's going to be difficult. But yes, if you have single core systems, then you will have to make sure that you group all the cores together. If it's 4 core, 5 core, put them together and then bind them at every 1 meter distance along the route until it enters into the distribution board or the LV panel, whatever. So bundling it at every 1 meter is just like having a multi-core cable. So the best is, if you can afford it, you go for a multi-core cable. As against single core cables that have to be banded like this. That is if your communication that you are choosing is PLC. Okay, this is the minimum advice from Huawei. Again, as I mentioned earlier, just avoid direct sunlight. I mean, yes, it is IP66. Yes, it's IP67. But I mean, let us elongate the lifespan of the inverters by putting a shade, putting a shade, putting a shade, and putting a shade. It's always better. Another key point, always make sure that you are installing these inverters at eye level. Remember, there's an indicator panel in front of the inverter, right? That will tell you how the system is working. DC, AC, communication, alarm. Eye level is the best. Take a look at this installation. That's a difficulty to check what is happening. And take a look at this. Too low, allowing the ground sun to have an effect on the inverter. Too high. Okay, so most reasonable eye level. So to the commissioning, we mentioned that commissioning can be done from the palm of your hand. You can do local commissioning, fast and easy. So local commissioning means you are right close to you are in the presence of the inverter. The Huawei system allows you to do commissioning locally in two ways. You can just put a USB, okay? You can put a USB cable from your phone to the inverter, and then you have access directly to the inverter. If that's not what you are comfortable with, but then you want to do Wi-Fi, okay, you can enable the Wi-Fi on your phone, and then you can also put. Remember, the inverter comes with a USB adapter, as I showed you for the first time. So you slot the USB adapter into the inverter, and then you look for its Wi-Fi, connect it to your system, and then you are locally connected to the inverter. You connect, you, it will ask you to create an account, okay? So on the Fishing Solar app, you create a username and then a password, and you are good to commission your system. Commissioning is also very simple. In fact, commissioning is just in 4 steps. Just 4 steps, you can commission any inverter size that you want, and it's simple up to here. So as soon as you connect your system to the inverter locally, the inverter itself will open the app. So you go to device commissioning, and then the first page you see, it will ask you to set your basic info. So you put in your info, your grid code, location of inverter, blah blah blah. Just a couple of basic information. As soon as you put it in, you click next. It takes you to the device detection. This system will auto detect what is in the system. You don't even have to force it. As soon as you go to the device detection page, the inverter would auto detect whatever is connected to it. If you have a smart meter there, have a smart logger, you have other cascaded inverters in the system, okay, or you have batteries in the system, it will auto detect any other equipment, optimizers. It will auto detect all. If your inverter is not detecting something that is connected in the system, there's an option here where you can manually search for it. You can manually, but please, as soon as the inverter does not auto detect anything, it means you've not done the wiring properly. It means whatever communication wiring is between that system, that device to your inverter has not been done properly. So you have to check it. Otherwise, the inverter should auto detect it. Once it auto detects it, the next page it will ask you to connect to the management system. Okay, so it's the management system that would show whether you are willing to do remote monitoring or not. So depending on what communication gadget you have connected, if you have a Wi-Fi, okay, this is where your Wi-Fi connection will be made. If you don't have a Wi-Fi, but you have a smart dongle 4G, your SIM card has data, this is where the connection will be made. And it will ask you to authorize something, and then as soon as that authorization is done, completed, your system is commissioned. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, right from the palm of your hand, you can commission any Huawei system of any size. This should not take you more than 10 minutes. Now, after you finish this, if you are willing to remotely monitor your system on any platform, then this system will lead you automatically to the plant registration page. Now, these 3 stages is for you to be able to monitor the system from your laptop, from your phone, from any part of the world that you are in. So it will ask you to register the plant. Okay, so you add a new plant. Of course, you add basic information, plant location, your telephone number, owner of the plant, connection, email address, blah blah. You add all this here, register the new plant, and then here you add the devices. Again, if this has been done properly, the devices has been auto detected here, right? So as soon as you come here, these devices must begin to show. So what you do is that here at add devices, it will give you an opportunity to scan any one of the devices that you have in the system. So once you open up the scan page, you scan the serial number or the QR code of the inverter or the smart logger or the smart dongle. As soon as you scan it, all the other devices will begin to show up here. You click next to complete, and then your device has been registered online, which means that anytime you are anywhere away from the inverter, if you put in your login details and put in your password, click OK. Every client, all the KPIs of the system should show on your phone. Everything that you have, and this is what you'll be seeing. Let's go to the next page. Okay, so then this is what the monitoring page will look like. Okay, if it's a desktop or it's a laptop, this is what you are actually going to be seeing. So here, for those of you who do installations with other brands, you know what I mean. Yeah, you see that everything here is showing. You see the PV panels, you see if there are batteries in the system, you see your load going to the house, you see the production from the power meter. Everything is here. Every information, daily production, weekly production, monthly, yearly. You can store data up to 50 years going back of in the system. You can see your graphs and the revenue you are saving every day. If it's on your phone, it will show you this simple interface. So here is the battery. Here is the PV production from the top of your roof. This will be your load in the house, and this will be the grid. So you have grid here showing you how much the grid is contributing, how much you are picking from the battery, and how charged the battery is, the PV production from the top, and then your load. So clearly you can see every interface. It has so many other places that you can click to check your alarms, check your KPIs, anything. Here also you can see day, month, year, lifetime, and give you any data that you want. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, after you have completely done this installation, powered it on, commissioned it, the next step is you can create user accounts for different people on this plant. Let us say you are an EPC and you have commissioned this plant for a developer. The developer must also report to the owner of the plant. You can create roles, accounts for each and every one of them to monitor the system. It's absolutely possible. So here, Huawei has a hierarchical user account management. The top is the VAP. The bottom are the distributors. If there's any distributor in the system, then below them are the installers or any EPCs. And then this is the owner. So you can see that we have an owner role at the bottom here, and then all other roles are installer roles. The installer roles means that the person can make changes or can do O&M on the platform. So if you are giving somebody an installer role, be careful. If you give the person an installer role, it means the person will be able to access the system and troubleshoot, clear alarms, and do some changes. Maybe expand the range of voltages, expand the range of frequencies, change some settings the person can be able to do. Normally, the owner rules, we give it to the owners of the plant so that they can only be able to monitor what is happening. They can monitor their KPIs, their production, their revenue, blah, 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 but they will not be able to make any changes to the system. This is absolutely important. So after you have done this, you can always register and then create rules for any user that is in the system. Okay, as you wish. Remember, I mentioned smart O&M. Yes. So then the reason why I said the inverter is supposed to be touch free and maintenance free is for these reasons. Okay. So Huawei has an online smart IV curve diagnosis. Normally, for inverters up to 20 kilowatt, 20 kilowatt, this software can be given for free. It's absolutely for free. Above 20 kilowatt systems, then you must purchase it from Huawei. So if you have a 10 kilowatt system, you can run an IV curve diagnosis on your internet. Um, am I loud and clear now? Please, anybody can confirm in the chat area if I'm loud and clear. Okay, all right. Um, okay, all right. Thank you, Perez, and thank you, Bashir. I can see that I am loud and clear. I don't know exactly where I missed you, but okay, maybe I just go back one slide just to be safe. So here I was talking about the hierarchy of the user accounts that you can create for people. So we are the VAP, we are Jubeli Bros. We have sold this to you as an EPC. The EPC is going to install, and then it's installing for an owner. So if you come to me, I can create an installer account for you, the EPC, and you can also create installer account for your other engineers in your system. Remember, it's both vertical and horizontal. So you can create accounts for you see. So here you see employee one, employee two, employee three. They all have accounts on the same distributor or EPC. And any installation that you do, you can create an account for the owner, and then you link the owner's account to a particular plant. So as an installer, you can have about 20 different plants, but if you are creating an owner account, the system will ask you, which plant do you want to link to that owner? If you create a general account and link everything, that owner can be able to access or see all your other installations. If that's what you want, then that's fine. Okay, but you can specify which particular account you want somebody to see. So that is very important. So that was what where I think I lost most of you. Online smart IV curve diagnosis. I said this is a software that is available from Huawei. Now this software uses AI boost. So this is the smartest that you can have in the whole inverter world now. And this software is free. If you're purchasing an inverter up to 20 kilowatts, this software can be provided to you for free. If it's above 20 kilowatt, 30, 40, 60, 100, then you need to purchase the software from Huawei. Now, this software, if you run it on your system, so then that's what you see here. 10-minute diagnosis report, auto generation for a typical megawatt level plant. So even if it's a 5 megawatt system, you can run a report in 10 minutes. Now, the report will be able to tell you 14 different faults that is in your system. short diode, thermal mismatch, glass breakage. It can be able to identify all the system. It's not only identify, it will pinpoint to you which particular string is having that problem. It will show you which particular string. We can even go to which particular panel. If in case you have optimizers on each panel, the system will be able to tell you which particular panel has that problem. So if you are going to your system, you go straight where the fault is. You don't go, testing everything around, which will take you 2 or 3 days. All right. So you go straight to where the problem is, and it will also give you the remedial effect. What are you supposed to do to alleviate the problem? It will always show you that. If you have this as a tool, your O&M becomes the smartest. And that's why we said all our O&M can be done from our phone, right from our phone. You don't even have to struggle to even go to the field to do this O&M. Now let's come to the issue of warranty. Absolutely important. People listening to me, somebody will ask, so of all these goodies, if I purchase a Huawei inverter, what is my warranty? Okay. If it's a residential system, and by residential, I mean any inverter up to 10 kilowatt, or it's a battery system, you have 10 years warranty. If you are in West Africa, please let us be careful. The Huawei warranty differs region by region. So I know if you're in Africa, it is 10 years. In the Gulf region, it's still 5 years for residential. But in Africa, it's 10 years if you have a Huawei residential system. Anything apart from the residential system, whether it's commercial or industrial or utility, is standard 5-year warranty. But the warranty can be extendable to 20 years, and that's a good thing. So you can buy a Huawei inverter today, and you know that for the next 5 years you are covered. But you can purchase an extension to 20 years, which means that within the next 20 years, if there's any problem, your inverter will be replaced. Remember, for Huawei warranty, we don't repair inverters, we replace them. You saw how compact and robust the inverter system is. There's no way for me to open and say I am fixing anything. We don't fix, we replace, because we don't expect this inverter to go faulty. But still, 0.5% means still something can happen because it's 0.5%. Even if it's 0.1%, which means that if you should sell every 100 inverters, one can still have a problem. So what we do is that we replace that inverter for you. We don't repair it. Another good thing is that within these 5 years, you can always extend the warranty anytime within the 5 years. Take note. Some inverter warranty extenders will tell you 5 years, extendable to 20 years. But you have to extend at the time you are purchasing the inverter. With Huawei, you can buy the inverter this year. We are in what? This is June 2022, which means your 5 years will end when? June 2027, let's say. You can wait until May 2027 and choose to extend the warranty at that time. Huawei will still accept it. What I'm trying to say is that warranty extension can be any time within the 5 years, not only at the beginning of the 5 years. You can use the inverter for 4 years, and then in the 5th year, decide to extend the warranty to 20 years. It's still that is the kind of trust that Huawei have with the durability or quality of their inverters. Absolutely. And how do you chase a warranty problem? Identify a problem, okay? Contact the local Jubilee representative in your area. As I said, I am in Ghana and I'm in charge of West Africa. So if you should purchase this inverter from me, and even you are in, let's say, Togo, or you are in Cote d'Ivoire, and you have a problem, you contact me first. I'll check the problem and see to confirm if it's a manufacturer defect. If it is, I will ask Huawei to review the problem. And if Huawei reviews the problem and then says, yes, this is a manufacturer effect, replace the inverter, I go ahead to replace the inverter for you immediately. I don't wait for me to say, Huawei should give me that inverter from somewhere before I can replace for you. No. I always have stock in my warehouse. So as soon as it is confirmed that it's an inverter problem, I replace it for you, and then I deal with Huawei on my level. This is the benefit you have from buying from Jubilee Bros. Right? Absolutely. So your warranty It's all been taken care of. Okay, now just to wrap this up, I am almost, I think I am 10 minutes out to complete this. So just other solar products supplied by Jubilee Bros Solar. As I mentioned, we don't only do Huawei systems. We do panels from Jinko. We do mounting structure. You can see we have very beautiful, nice, strong, um, you know, um, mounting structures for all types of roofs, whether it's corrugated, whether it's whatever, IBM, IBR, trapezoidal, whatever roof shape, roof type. We have mounting structures for them, and it's from Lumas Energy. As I mentioned, our solar panels are from Jinkos, top 2 globally. We also do mounting structure, balance of system. Okay, so we do hybrid controllers, we do the cables and accessories, we do EMSs, monitoring stations. We also do hybrid panels and hybrid cabinets. Okay, and we sometimes we also sell other Huawei compliant power meters. So like this is Janita. Okay, for those of you who are quite familiar, this is Janita, and we sell Janita with our systems. If your system that you are going to use is above the 170 kilowatts that I mentioned, we can also give you Janita for this purpose. One of our best areas is PV diesel. I mentioned already Jubilee Bros, for most of you who are on this call, you know, like Jubilee Bros is a big generator sales company. And we've sold millions of generators to people. So we leverage on that and we do PV diesel. So you have a genset at your location, grid is available, we bring in the solar facility to you, and then we put in a hybrid system that can hybridize everything for you nicely before coming to your house. It's perfect. So you should try this. This would save you fuel. This system allows the generator to run at its minimum, normally 30 to 40% of its normal usual load if solar is available. Okay, so this is also a system that we are very strong in. Thank you for joining me today. Sorry for any technical hitches with the internet. It's been raining heavily. We're in the rainy season in Ghana. I don't know if that's a credible excuse in a way. Yeah, but sorry. We are committed to after sales. I have always said after sales is my greatest part of everything. If I sell to you and I'm not able to support you, then it's just as if you can buy any other brand from any other manufacturer in China or in Europe, right? My job is to sell to you and also be available to support you. So contact any Jubilee Bros representative anytime for any after sales. And as I said, the warranty is also with the Jubilee Bros branch, local branch, not global. So if you buy with me and you have a problem, contact me. Technical assistance, contact me. Warranty replacement, contact me, and we will help you solve every issue, even before it even gets to the Huawei level. So this is our technical email. This is our Jubilee email. I hope we have we have enough questions that we can go through for those of you who have put some questions in there. If not, please, you still have the time to put some questions in the chat area. I'll just take a few of your time now to go through to see if I can answer those questions. Okay, let me see if I can. Let me enable my Q&A. Oh, I didn't enable it from the beginning. Sorry. I think that is why most of you were not able to. Okay, so now I have enabled my Q&A. Please, if you have any question, put it in there. I will go through. Oh, and I see people joining us from Gambia, from Burkina Faso, from Pakistan, from Liberia. That is absolutely from Kenya. Good afternoon, Moses. I hope you are enjoying your day. I have a colleague in Kenya, Nick Larson. He is my photocopy in Kenya. He is in charge of Kenya and then the East Africa region. So if you need any products from Huawei or you need any further explanation, any further presentation, do well to contact him. Maybe I'll share his email in the chat area at the end of this. And also let me also share my email, samson.zixon@dailyblogs.com. If you have any further questions later, you can always contact me, or maybe some of you would like to have this presentation so that they can keep and then study it later. We can also share the presentation with you. Remember, an automatic certificate will be sent to you after this for participating in today's program. But yes, I'm just sharing my email now, so you can contact me with any questions that you have. Let me go through the area and see which questions I can pick up. So questions. Okay, Lawrence. Let me publish it. Let me publish this. Let me publish this. Let me publish this. Okay, no. Sorry. Sorry, I'm trying to find some questions. Trying to find if I can get some questions. Okay, so Yusra Fatima is asking, what's the mass DC to AC ratio that is usually recommended? Oh, beautiful question. So for Huawei inverter systems, Huawei recommends a DC to AC ratio of 1.3. You can go up to 1.4 actually, but if you're asking for a recommendation, it's 1.3. As a matter of fact, if you should put optimizers on your roof with the panels, you can do what you call a long string design, which can really take you to up to 1.6, 1.7. That's if we have optimizers. Without optimizers, the Huawei adequate system is 1.3. You can do a DC to AC ratio of 1.3. Absolutely. I hope that answers some of your question. Lawrence Aduku. With respect to residential, is it possible to combine the string inverters with another product central inverter for storage? Ah, this is a critical one. Let me simply mention that Huawei system accepts other inverter systems in the combination. What you have to do is that for the purpose of monitoring, and that's what the issue is. So combining with it, you even have the luxury to play with the system, as an engineer, depending on the design. Whether you want to combine it, AC coupled, DC coupled, whatever. Whether you are bringing a battery inverter or just a normal, you can do all that. But the most important point is, if you're going to monitor the system, how are you going to monitor it? Are you going to monitor it from the third party, or you like to monitor it from the Huawei system? If you like to monitor it from the Huawei system, then you need to put a separate power meter at the output of the new inverter or the third-party inverter that you're adding. Remember, there needs to be a power meter at the end of the Huawei system. That will show you the Huawei system, what is being measured, production, import, export, and all that. But if you are bringing in a third-party inverter to synchronize in the system, before that third-party inverter can show its production on the Huawei system, there needs to be a separate power meter at the output of that third-party inverter. And that power meter should be connected to the Huawei system, whether it's a smart logger or the master inverter. That is the only way you can have that monitoring showing on the Huawei side. Otherwise, you'll be only having to be, you'll be able to do it, but you'll not be able to monitor remotely what is happening with that particular inverter. I don't know if that answers most of your question. Also, there is a system where you can monitor the whole Huawei platform from a third-party monitoring platform. That should not be confused. So there are some companies, let's say you're an EPC, and you already have 15 other installations before somebody introduces you to Huawei, okay? So now you are going to now go with Huawei. Are you now going to say that, okay, should I keep my old monitoring system separate and then have my Huawei to separate? No, you don't need to do that. Huawei has a system where you can transfer the whatever monitoring is on the Huawei platform onto your third-party monitoring platform. Okay, so this is not a webinar for that. In Jubilee Bros has other webinars. I think mostly the CNI and the utility skill webinar. They have sections where they explain how to transfer monitoring from a Huawei system to a third-party monitoring platform. So that is different. I think the question being asked here is it possible to combine the string inverters with another product? Oh, did you say central inverter for storage? Central inverter, I'm not too sure. Really, Lawrence, these are some of the questions that I will need to look into it further for you with the Huawei technical team. I know you can combine other systems with other third-party string inverters. With another product, central inverter, I'm not too sure. I have never come across this explanation before. So I have just left my email in the chat area. If you can just pick it up and then just push this question to me privately on my email, I will be able to find an answer and then push it to you privately also through the same email. Okay. I hope that will be better. Sorry, I couldn't be of too much help. The next question here said also slides to Zambia at victoryafrica.net, please. Okay. Okay. All right, Sujin. Nice. Zambia at Victory Africa. I like your email very much. Very, very nice. I hope it's not too bad that I published it. Let me unpublish it quickly. Okay, so Yusuf says thank you. Oh no. I think there are some other questions from here. Let me pick it up. Sorry, let me pick up a few more questions. Okay, so that's a question. I'll go there. And I publish this. Hassan, he said, dear all, is there a solution that makes me connect the grid to the generator with a solar plant the size of 1 megawatt? Oh yes, absolutely. You are asking whether there's a hybrid solution, grid, genset, and then a 1 megawatt system. Yes, you can easily use Encombi for this. An Encombi hybrid panel, it can do for sizes up to even 10 megawatt. All right, so you can easily use Encombi, and I believe there will be other hybrid panel manufacturers too who can also even have the same system. Yes, but it is possible, Hassan. Okay, so I think if I'm not mistaken, my questions are finished unless I can see any other. Let me mark as a question and go and check. Louis Autry said, what is the recommended software for CNI solar system design? I mean, Louis, there are so many softwares out there, and they're very popular ones. I mean, PV6 for one is a very good one. PV Sol is good. Helioscope is also perfect. You know, it depends on how user friendly or how the interface, interacts with you, the user. How okay are you with which particular system that you want to use? But I mean, for me, PV6, PV Sol, Helioscope are all perfect for running this kind of systems. More questions. Let me just take one or two more. Aga, he said, can we power up the solar inverter without grid power? Aga, no. All the Huawei inverters that I showed today are all grid tied. They are all grid tied inverters. So they only work when the grid is available, unfortunately. They will work with generators if you have a hybrid panel. If you have a hybrid panel as part of a system, then if the grid goes off and then your genset comes on, your genset can serve as a grid, and then the system will work. Yes, but if you don't have a hybrid panel, then they are purely grid tied. Again, Rajesh, any solar module selection requires solar intensity check of the installation area. Yes, of course. I mean, typically, yeah. But so then, if you know what is available, what is most often the case for a region, then you don't have to always keep repeating and intensity check. So, for example, I'm in Accra, and I've done a few installations in Accra. So now I know which models are adequate or not. So if I have any new installation, I'll not go checking up the solar intensity every time. So then that makes it pretty much easier. Basha, does the system need any serious maintenance or software update? Basha, good question. No, the system does not need, as I mentioned, it's actually supposed to be maintenance free. And even with the software upgrade, so what we do is that from time to time, if you connect locally to the system should actually alert you that there's a new software available. So even before you even enter into the system, it would give you that alert. So you update the software. Sometimes you can upload the software and then tap on the software delay. So you upload the software, all right, but because maybe you're in a hurry to do something with the system, you can ask the system to delay that update. So the system would download the update, but will not update it. It would allow you to finish what you are doing, and then would only update itself at night. Thank you. Please fill out the webinar, and I hope to see you some other time. Thank you. Bye bye.